Hello, friends. In the game Alchemy Factory, you're able to express your engineering skills in an environment that freely lets you build machines, logistics, magical products. Let me tell you, I've spent hundreds of hours exploring different ways to construct the early, mid, and late game items, such as this soul relic in front of me. Something I've found incredibly valuable is leaning on past systems engineering skills and data center design knowledge. But today, I want to answer a few simple questions about Alchemy Factory. 1. How do you set up a factory? 2. How do you scale your factory? And 3. What is a great way to lay out your floors of the factory? Let's dive in. As you evolve from the mid-tier of the game, materials such as floors and walls and vertical beams become available. The starting series of plots, as shown here, can be purchased in a single rectangular chunk. Consider this the starting point for your factory. I recommend using these quarter-sized tiles with a pair of wooden beams in the center. Because we're using quarter-sized tiles, we can stretch tiles of floor all the way across these starter plots without needing any more beams. To set the beams, measure 8 tiles, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, across, lay a beam, skip 4 tiles, 1, 2, 3, 4, lay another beam, and then you'll have 8 more tiles remaining to the next side. From the other side, or the entrance of your base, it's just going to be 7 tiles, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. By doing this, you get a lot of empty space that are not cluttered with beams. As your factory grows and your money grows, you're going to buy more and more plots. As you can see here, I've got a section of plots that are the most expensive. I've got a section of plots that are second most expensive. And then here's our starter plots over here. By going up and then connecting them across the little alleyways that exist below, you're able to turn this into one giant platform across the way. Additionally, I like to lay out a hole to go vertically between all my different floors. This hole is great for 2 purposes. 1, vertical logistics, such as sending coins up. I have lifts that come up, are connected at each floor so that I can take money on or off the belt as necessary, and then it continues up to the next floor, and money coming down. Anything I might be selling through the factory comes down this lift, connects to this little lift here so that I can add more money to the lifts going down, and continues all the way to the bottom of the floor. The other thing I'm doing is laying vertical pipes. With each pipe, and we have 6 on each side for a total of 12 pipes, you can separate out your liquids such as linseed, fruit wine, lime water, and brine. And on the other side, I have fairy tears, we have quicksilver, aqua vitae, sulfuric acid, brandy, and moon tears. By doing this, every floor has access to money as well as liquids without having anything special or unique on each floor. Within each floor, I like to set up specific aisles for my machines. As you can see here on floor 9, we have aisle A and B, coming along to aisle C, aisle D, and aisle E. Each aisle is self-contained. No machine is allowed to span any wider than one aisle, and I can build machines all the way down an aisle for as many machines as I need for that particular segment of the production line. This keeps it clean. I always know that my machines will fit no matter where they are in the factory because all of them are sized to the size of an aisle. Each aisle has rules within the aisle. For example, I run 3 belts to my machines, and they're always in the same order. The bottom belt contains money, so that machines that require money for purchasing portals can simply add a line to the bottom belt and they'll get money. The second belt, that's 1 tier higher, is for fuel. That's because furnaces have a 1 tier height gap between the floor and where they have their fuel ingest import. So this is my fuel line. I'm using Panacea Potion, but this could be charcoal powder, black powder, coke powder, blast potions, whatever it is you want to use. And lastly, third tier, or the highest tier, is my fertilizer. So anytime I need fertilizer, such as for these plants that you see here in the nurseries, they're automatically going to pull from this line. By standardizing the way that my lines are fed, again, I can create blueprints and I can make sure that any blueprint I use will work in any aisle anywhere because we're using a standard input into all of our blueprints. Looking at the opposite side of an aisle, we have the outputs. Because inputs go in the left, outputs come out the right. These outputs cross over our money belt using these junctions and are split so that they're evenly spaced. In this example, we're creating different types of ingots using money and fertilizer and cauldrons. All the inputs are going into this left side, and all the outputs, or the bars that we need for copper, bronze, and steel, are coming out the right side. Again, this keeps things uniform. You never have to guess what's happening in the factory if you follow your own rules. On sort of the back side of the factory, facing the castle, we have a vertical mall. Malls are common in factory games to provide materials that you're going to need for building. It's very annoying to have to cross all the way over to the bottom or the top or the side of the factory to get things like planks, wooden gears, iron ingots, and so on. So every floor has a lift that sends 2 lifts from floor to floor and so on and so forth with all of these materials. Iron nails, steel ingots, steel gears, stone, copper ingots, copper bearings, bronze ingots and bronze rivets, rope, glass, clay, and brick. If you have these items available to you on every floor, the game will feel a lot smoother and less friction because anytime you need to build, you have the materials at hand. The only thing you'll need to kind of grab off the cuff are seeds and miscellaneous items. Your mall doesn't have to be very large. Here I've challenged myself to keep the mall at 3 quarter tiles in length. No machine exceeds this length. For each box that we're sending into a lift, all these materials for a mall, we just have small micro builds that slowly trickle materials up and into every box above, because eventually they'll all fill up and there's really not much of a chance that I can use them faster than they're filling over time. So all these machines feed into those mall components and they're not used for anything else. We don't want to consume this for our shop. We don't want to consume it for other production lines. This should be dedicated to just the mall. The benefit of this, we're always going to have components available for building. And when we're not using the components from the mall, the system basically shuts down, costing us no money or fuel outside of a little bit for these furnaces. You can build your shop components in the factory to sell to customers. As an example, on floor 2, I have 2 aisles building things for customers. Aisle B builds Panacea potions and Blast potions for sale, and Aisle C builds all the other potions that we'll need: growth potions, transformation potions, vitality potions, and healing potions. Again, because it's for the customers, we don't need large builds. We can use small, compact builds, either using machinery or cauldrons, depending on your take. And because we're using our liquid centralized, we can pull off the pipes that we need. So for making some of the potions, I pull off the brine, the lime water, the fruit wine, or the linseed oil that I need, and simply route the pipes across the roof and direct them to where they're needed. Liquid should be made on at least the 16th floor or 17th floor if you start at 1 instead of 0, and that includes anything that comes out of an extractor, so brine, fruit wine, lime water, linseed oil, and potentially fairy tears if you choose. Here's my setup on floor 16. We have an aisle of each component, so an aisle rather of linseed oil is being created here. Our fruit wine is being created here, and so on and so forth for the brine and the lime water. This keeps it clean, but it also has the benefit of a thermal extraction. If I open it up, we can see the thermal extractor. It's a bonus multiplier. We're essentially getting triple the fluid. The standard 100%, in addition to the multiplier of 200%, gives us 300% fluid. By doing this, we're able to use relatively small builds for a late game factory, such as these single aisle for brine, fruit wine, and linseed oil, and everything down below is able to pull from the pipes that go down all the way to the factory. In Alchemy Factory, customers are only able to buy on the first floor of the plots that are located together where you start. Therefore, I really don't like having any factory or machines on this floor. I keep it empty, except for things that I sell, some cash registers, and a stairway going up along with lifts bringing my money to my treasury. Above the shop, I have a logistics floor. So the floor right above where the shop is only does logistics. There are no factory machines, nothing making anything. We're simply moving goods from one place to the next. You can see lifts bringing down our potions for sale, the money belt bringing coins up into the factory, all of the relics being generated, including that little soul that's floating by us, are coming down from the factory, and any profits from our dispatch portals are also coming down, being filtered into gold and sent into the treasury. Additionally, we have all the products being thrown via catapults down below us. You can set those with the floor clear. It only does a check when we're throwing it, and then replace it with floor, and the catapults will continue to work. You don't have to do it this way. You can leave floor holes if you want. You can set up your catapults however you want. But it's nice to have a floor where all we're doing is we're sending products into the shop from above. This also counts for miscellaneous goods and jewelry. You can see here we're sending all the jewels, and here we're sending all the miscellaneous goods. And in this case, we're sending all the products that can be made in the game for customers to purchase. As a bonus, there's also some plots kind of next to your starting area. So if the castle's here, this would be to the right of that alleyway. I use this as a shop warehouse. I want to show this as an example that you don't need a lot of production in order to fulfill your customers' needs. And I have the customer skills maxed out, so they're buying 4 times the normal amount that they would in a game without the skills. So all of our jewels are being created with these few machines. Of course, I am using some cauldrons. That does make things a little smaller, but it's up to you. It doesn't take a whole lot of production. And then here we're creating all the miscellaneous goods. So everything from the copper and bronze components, steel gears, salts, bricks, glass, etc. All are being sent through sort of a main bus that heads into our customer area and sells what they need. But it's all compacted in this small 1-story area. Remember, have a plan in mind for how you structure your factory, keep things standardized and hold to those standards, and make sure you lay out your floors against those standards so that as you create production through your machines, they'll fit anywhere that you need them to fit. Keep things clean. Thank you for joining me today. I plan on making more videos in greater depth, but I thought an introductory to the way that I lay out my factory would be a good start. You can find me on Twitch as well. I'll leave a link into the description. I stream most days. I cover a lot of Alchemy Factory as well as other games. And I hope to see you in the next video. Take care.